What's up, guys? It's Gwen giving you a crash course on combat in Arkheron so you can get more kills and more wins when you're in the tower. Today I'm going to be going over your Fortitude and your health and their respective consumables, different damage types for you to be aware of, the empowered state, which is a common question a lot of new players have, and then important visuals for you to know as well, so that in combat you're not focusing the person who's immune to damage.
Kill his ass. Wait, I didn't transform. Hold on. Okay.
Alright, first things first, let's go over health and fortitude. So these are going to be similar to any other health resource you have in games, except the important thing to know about fortitude is, I'll pop it up on the screen, but you see these little shields marking off every 50 points of fortitude. These are actually, they're kind of like breaking points, so you can't do overflow damage past them. Let me give you an example here. So Dala's blade does 15, 15, and then 10, 10. So the first two hits are doing 15 damage, but let's hit them on the dummy here and see what happens. 15, 10. Oh, well, Gwen, I thought it was 15, 15. It is, but that is the barrier point in your fortitude at work. So even though I did 15 damage, there's only 10 remaining in the first bar of fortitude, so I only did 10 damage. So 15, 15, 15, 15, 10, 15, 10. Now if I get here, we're doing the regular 15, 15, right? So that's important. That's how fortitude works. Good to know. And then health. You have, like I said, 100 fortitude, 200 health. Health behaves as normal as you expect in any other game. No kind of secret mechanics there. Alright, now let's use the shrine to talk about consumables real quick, do a quick rundown on them. So we have our health potions. You can hold 3 of these at a time, and they are going to regen 75 health. Can't use one right now because I'm not damaged. Sorry about that, but you just, you crush it, it instant casts pretty much, and then you get your 75 health. We have Fortitude shards as well. You can also carry 3 of these. Fortitude shards are probably the best consumable in the game right now. It is an instant 100 shield, so your full Fortitude bar. And again, like we talked about, having those kind of break points, you're often getting more value than just the 100 damage out of it. And you can also cast these instantly. So you can literally be in the middle of a fight. Let me see, can I reset my armor off as well? Alas, I cannot, so I can't show you guys, but if I had taken damage, I could literally just be in the middle of a fight fighting someone, and then pop my Fortitude shard, and I have 100 back again. It's very good. And then our last one, we have the healing wards. So you can carry 4 of these at a time. They are AoE for your teammates. I can cast this for us. So any of your teammates can stand in this and get the benefits of both health and armor. It'll do health first and then armor, but these are destructible, so you know, if I'm just out here in the open fighting people, they can come up and they can smack my healing ward to destroy it. So if you do want to use these, make sure you kind of dip behind cover or something, pop that, do a quick reset in the fight before you head back in. Now let's talk about the 3 different types of damage in Arkheron, at least as of me making this video. So the first one is 90% of weapons just hit, you know, whatever health resource they have. So it's going to hit the fortitude, you get through the fortitude, and then it goes into their health bar, and it drains as normal, right? But there is a type of damage called piercing. So we can see that this guy has fortitude. However, Dala's RMB, or whatever you have that map to, you can see in the description, a lunging stab that pierces your target. So piercing damage is going to ignore fortitude and go straight to their health for 55 damage. That's a pretty big bump right there. Actually, let me show you. One of the other common piercing weapon types is going to be our Irena sword. Does the same thing. RMB, piercing, goes straight to the health, ignores the fortitude. Now, the other type of damage is crushing damage. So we saw earlier that these fortitudes have these gates on them that you can't overflow damage into, right? So even though our Dala's knife here does 15-15, we're doing 15-10 because of that fortitude gate. However, something like Leodin's hammer, we can see here in the righteous swing on the RMB, or the special ability for the weapon, has stun, knockback, and crushing. So crushing damage is the second type. Crushing is not affected by these fortitude gates that we have. So look, we know it's 15 and then 10, but if I hit this once, I'm close to that end bar, but I hit him there with the RMB, and you can see it went past 2 different gates of fortitude. So that is what crushing damage is. I believe Renshi's here has, yeah, the Renshi's RMB also has crushing damage, if I don't mess up the aim on this. So you can see it goes through both of those fortitude gates. So, pretty good to know, getting a lot more value out of your damage if someone has fortitude if you're using crushing, because you're not going to be losing DPS from going through those fortitude gates. Alright, now let's get into the different visuals that are important to know. And the most common one that has the most questions that I see in Discord on is going to be your empowered state. So you can see as I'm hitting this guy, this bar at the bottom of the screen is filling up slowly and slowly as I do damage. And then, really big burst of that bar gets filled when you make a takedown. And now you can see my bar's on fire. There's a blue visual around my character in the game as well. So now I have 30% increased damage. So you can see when I was originally doing 15, now I'm doing 19.5. So 30% increased damage, and then also I can't demonstrate because I'm not being hit, but I have 30% damage reduction as well. So this empowered state is very strong. If you see someone go on fire in the middle of a fight, if it's worth it, you might be able to try to kind of reset. Not worth fighting them as much when they're in this empowered state. It also means it's really important that if you guys are, if you're 2v1 on top of the last member alive, right, but one of your friends doesn't see how low of health they are, and if they give the enemy a takedown, and it puts them into this empowered state, and they get a heal on kill for killing your ally, that is a really easy way for them to turn the fight. You can see here this plus 100 HP. That's your takedown heal that you get. So, yeah, you know, if you're fighting a 2v1, don't be like, okay, this is a free fight, because if you end up giving your enemy that takedown, getting that empowered state, and then also getting heals, really easy way to turn that. Or, really easy way to win a fight more, right? If you get a pick in a 3v3, and then you get empowered off of killing one member, it's kind of easy for you to be the leading charge into the rest of the people fighting. Alright, now let's talk about different visuals in the game, and one of the most common ones is that you can kind of think of it like if someone is glowing green, then there's no reason to be hitting them, or especially if it's Mending Hands, which you can see on the screen here. Mending Hands is one of your anchor abilities, so you can see this damage that gets dealt to you is converted into healing. So if someone is, you know, 2 HP, you're about to kill them and they pop Mending Hands, and you see this glowing bubble around them, stop hitting them. You don't want to be hitting them. One, you're wasting your time because they're invulnerable to damage, and you're also actually healing them as well. So it's a very strong ability to use, and it can turn a fight pretty easily. The other one for us to look at, if I know what it looks like, there we go, Invulnerable Amulet. So this is becoming immune to damage. So similar to Mending Hands in the sense where it's like, just what are you doing? What are you spending your time on? Like if someone is glowing this invulnerable state, there's simply no reason to be hitting them. It might be a good time for you to pop a Fortitude shard, or maybe just try to create space. Certainly don't use any of your, I don't even have any weapons equipped right now. Certainly don't use any of your strong abilities, right, while they have this invulnerable state on, because it's entirely wasted, and now you're down off cooldowns. So those are two very important ones to look at. The Mending Hand, you actually see here, I can't read by it. The Mending Hands and the invulnerability. Big bubbles. If someone's in a bubble, something's going on. Another important one to look at is the Vatten's Payback Crown. I think this is one of the biggest kind of knowledge checks for new players, because, like, you know, you're in the middle of a fight and you're trying to beat the shit out of somebody and they start glowing red and you're like, well, don't know what that does, but I'm gonna keep trying to kill this person. But what this does is it's reflecting all damage types at 100%, right? So if I'm receiving, we'll pretend the dummy's hitting me, right? If I'm receiving damage and I pop this, so now I'm glowing red. I call it Thorns, personally, just from being from League of Legends, and it has, you know, the spikes all around it. If they start glowing like that, you need to understand that whatever damage you're doing to them is going to be coming back to you. Especially if you combine this with Vatten's Payback Crown, Payback Amulet. I'm getting those names confused. You know what I mean. Payback Crown, Imbalanced Scales Amulet, which increases the damage that gets dealt to you. So that's kind of, you know, what you do with that, is you have both of those on so that you are actually reflecting even more damage because you're taking more damage. It's part of the Vatten set there. So watch out for the red bubble, watch out for the green bubble, this one, and then certainly watch out for Mending Hands, because that'll be healing them as well. Oh, I guess also worth noting, it's similar for Leodin's crown as well, although this one is much more intuitive. If you see someone glowing like this, it's pretty obvious that you're not going to be doing damage to them. The things like the Invulnerable Amulet, I think, are a little more subtle, which is why they're important to go over. Alright, and there's your quick breakdown on the combat in Arkheron, the high-level things that you need to know to make sure you got the right brain power you're putting into your fights so you can win more and climb up the tower. See you guys there.
This game is fun.